In our pursuit of a tranquil life, we often encounter habits that undermine our inner peace and happiness. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to turn our attention inward, focusing on our responses to external events rather than the events themselves. By identifying and overcoming toxic habits, we can cultivate resilience and find fulfillment. Let us explore 9 toxic habits that hinder our inner peace and how we, as Stoics, can transform them. Habit 1. Holding on to the past. In our fast-paced world, where change is the only constant, many people find themselves shackled by the weight of the past. Whether it be regrets, grievances, or cherished memories, clinging to the past can distort our perception of the present and hinder our growth. From a Stoic perspective, holding on to the past represents a fundamental misunderstanding of our nature and purpose. To understand why holding on to the past is detrimental, we must first acknowledge the Stoic view of time. Stoics believe that time is divided into 3 realms: the past, the present, and the future. The past is unchangeable. It has already occurred and is beyond our control. The future is uncertain, shaped by our actions in the present. The present moment is where we hold power, the only time frame in which we can act and make choices. By fixating on what has already transpired, we relinquish our ability to engage meaningfully with the present. Regret is one of the most pervasive forms of clinging to the past. When we dwell on our past mistakes, we often trap ourselves in a cycle of self-blame and disappointment. This not only affects our mental health, but also clouds our judgment, preventing us from making sound decisions in the present. For instance, consider someone who regrets not pursuing a dream career in their youth. Instead of seizing opportunities to pivot and explore new paths in their current life, they may spend years lamenting what could have been. Stoicism teaches us to acknowledge our mistakes, learn from them, and move forward. As Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Rather than being paralyzed by regret, we can choose to respond with resilience and wisdom. Holding on to grievances from the past can be equally damaging. When we harbor resentment towards others, we create an internal narrative that defines our interactions and emotions. A powerful example is a person who cannot forgive a friend for a betrayal years ago. This bitterness may lead to strained relationships and isolation, as they find it challenging to trust others. Stoicism encourages us to practice forgiveness, not for the sake of others, but for our own peace of mind. By letting go of grudges, we free ourselves from the emotional chains that bind us and open ourselves to new possibilities. For example, a person who chooses to forgive an ex-partner may find that they can love again without the weight of past hurt. While reminiscing about cherished memories can bring warmth and nostalgia, it can also prevent us from fully experiencing the present. Consider an individual who frequently shares stories about their glory days in high school or college, overshadowing their current experiences. They may miss out on forming new connections and enjoying the present opportunities. The Stoic approach advocates for a balanced perspective. Appreciate the past for the lessons and joy it provided, but do not allow it to overshadow the present. Marcus Aurelius, another influential Stoic, advises, "Do not be ashamed to be happy." By cultivating gratitude for our past experiences without letting them define us, we can enrich our current lives and foster a sense of fulfillment. The Stoic philosophy deeply acknowledges the transient nature of life. Everything is subject to change, and holding on to the past often stems from a fear of this impermanence. We may cling to past successes, relationships, or identities, fearing that their loss will diminish our worth. For example, a successful athlete who struggles to accept retirement may feel lost without their previous identity, leading to feelings of inadequacy. However, true wisdom lies in accepting change as a natural part of existence. By embracing the present and its inherent impermanence, we can cultivate resilience and adaptability. To combat the toxic habit of holding on to the past, we can employ several Stoic strategies. Engage in mindfulness techniques to ground yourself in the present moment. This can include meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply observing your surroundings with gratitude. For instance, taking a moment to appreciate the beauty of nature during a walk can anchor you in the now. Reflect on your thoughts and feelings about the past by journaling. Write down what you regret, what you've learned, and how you plan to move forward. This process can help you gain clarity and closure. Challenge negative thoughts associated with the past by reframing your narrative. Instead of viewing past experiences as failures, reframe them as opportunities for growth and learning. For example, someone who faced a setback in their career can view it as a chance to reassess their goals and develop new skills. Consciously choose to forgive those who have wronged you, as well as yourself. Understand that forgiveness is a gift you give yourself to liberate your spirit. Finally, shift your focus towards your goals and aspirations. Create actionable steps to achieve these intentions, allowing you to invest your energy in the present and future. Holding on to the past is a common human tendency, yet it can lead to a life filled with regret, resentment, and missed opportunities. By adopting a Stoic perspective, we can learn to let go of what no longer serves us and embrace the present moment with clarity and purpose. The journey toward inner peace begins with recognizing our power to shape our lives, not through the lens of the past, but in the richness of the now. As we cultivate this mindset, we can transform our lives, finding joy and fulfillment in each moment we are granted. Habit 2. Seeking others' approval. In an age characterized by social media and constant connectivity, the quest for validation from others has reached unprecedented levels. Seeking approval can manifest in various forms, whether it's through the likes on a social media post, the praise from colleagues, or the expectations of family and friends. While the desire for acceptance is a natural human inclination, excessive reliance on external validation can lead to a loss of authenticity and personal fulfillment. From a Stoic perspective, seeking others' approval represents a fundamental misunderstanding of our self-worth and purpose. At the core of Stoicism lies the belief that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from the opinions or judgments of others. Stoics teach us that we cannot control how others perceive us. The only power we possess is over our own thoughts, actions, and responses. By allowing external opinions to dictate our self-esteem, we relinquish our autonomy and place our happiness in the hands of others. As Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Thus, seeking others' approval can become a hindrance to living a life aligned with our values and beliefs. A common example of this tendency is seen in the workplace, where individuals may compromise their authenticity to gain approval from superiors or colleagues. Consider an employee who consistently agrees with their boss's opinions, even when they personally disagree. In their pursuit of approval, they may suppress their own ideas and values, leading to a lack of genuine engagement in their work. Over time, this behavior can result in feelings of resentment and discontent, as they feel disconnected from their true selves. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate the courage to express our authentic opinions, regardless of how they may be received. By valuing our own beliefs over the approval of others, we can foster a sense of integrity and fulfillment in our professional lives. In personal relationships, the quest for approval can create an unhealthy dynamic, leading to codependency and emotional turmoil. For instance, an individual who constantly seeks validation from their partner may feel insecure and unworthy if their partner does not provide it. This reliance on external affirmation can create a cycle of anxiety and frustration, where the individual's self-worth is contingent upon another's approval. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate self-love and acceptance, independent of others' opinions. By recognizing our intrinsic worth, we can build healthier relationships rooted in mutual respect and understanding, rather than dependency. Moreover, social media has amplified the pressure to seek approval, often distorting our self-perception. Many individuals curate their online personas, seeking likes and comments as a measure of their worth. For example, a person might feel a surge of happiness when their post receives numerous likes, but can spiral into despair when the engagement falls short. This external validation becomes a double-edged sword, as it can lead to both fleeting joy and deep disappointment. Stoics advise us to be wary of external influences and to practice gratitude for what we have, rather than measuring our worth against the fleeting approval of others. Instead of chasing likes, we can focus on creating meaningful content that reflects our authentic selves. A Stoic understanding of approval also involves acknowledging the impermanence of others' opinions. What is considered admirable or praiseworthy today may change tomorrow. Thus, investing our self-worth in the opinions of others is inherently unstable. For instance, an artist whose work is celebrated one moment may find themselves criticized the next. By anchoring our self-esteem in our values and principles, we cultivate resilience against the ebb and flow of external approval. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By focusing on what we can control, our actions and responses, we can maintain our sense of self-worth amidst external fluctuations. To combat the habit of seeking others' approval, we can adopt several Stoic strategies. First, engage in self-reflection to clarify your values and beliefs. By understanding what truly matters to you, you can create a strong foundation for your self-esteem that is independent of external validation. For instance, take time to journal about your goals, passions, and principles. This practice will help reinforce your identity and provide clarity in moments of doubt. Next, practice mindfulness techniques to help center your thoughts and emotions. This may include meditation or deep breathing exercises that ground you in the present moment. Recognize and challenge negative thoughts related to seeking approval by reframing them. For example, instead of thinking, "I need others to like me to be worthy," shift to, "My worth is inherent and not dependent on external validation." Finally, surround yourself with individuals who respect and appreciate you for who you are. Engaging with supportive friends and family can provide a nurturing environment that encourages authenticity rather than conformity. In conclusion, the pursuit of approval from others is a common challenge that can lead to a distorted sense of self and hinder personal fulfillment. By embracing a Stoic perspective, we can cultivate the strength to prioritize our values and beliefs over the opinions of others. True happiness and self-worth come from within, shaped by our actions, intentions, and resilience. As we learn to release the need for external validation, we can forge a path toward authenticity and fulfillment, empowering ourselves to live life on our own terms. Ultimately, the journey toward self-acceptance is a testament to our inner strength and the profound wisdom of Stoicism. Habit 3. Conditional kindness. In our interactions with others, kindness is often regarded as a virtue. However, many individuals practice what can be termed conditional kindness, where their generosity and compassion are contingent upon receiving something in return, be it acknowledgement, reciprocation, or validation. This behavior not only undermines the authenticity of our kindness, but also diminishes the meaningful connections we seek to establish. Through the lens of Stoicism, we can explore the implications of conditional kindness and learn to cultivate a more genuine approach to compassion. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies the belief that virtue is the only true good, and practicing kindness is a reflection of our inner values. Stoics teach us to act with intention and integrity, regardless of the response we may receive from others. Conditional kindness, however, is rooted in self-interest and often leads to disappointment when our expectations are not met. For instance, an individual may help a friend in need, but only if they anticipate that the friend will later return the favor or express gratitude. When the expected acknowledgement does not materialize, feelings of resentment or frustration may arise, overshadowing the initial act of kindness. This mindset not only jeopardizes our relationships, but also distorts our understanding of what it means to be kind. Instead of acting from a place of genuine compassion, we find ourselves driven by a transactional mentality, seeking to gain rather than to give. For example, consider a colleague who frequently offers help with the expectation of receiving praise or recognition in return. When their efforts go unnoticed, they may feel undervalued and question their worth. Such an approach to kindness detracts from the true essence of altruism, which is rooted in the desire to help others without expecting anything in return. Moreover, conditional kindness can create a culture of obligation rather than genuine goodwill. When kindness is practiced with strings attached, it can foster an environment of manipulation and dependency. For instance, a family member who consistently offers support but expects unwavering loyalty in return, creates a dynamic where love and kindness become entangled with obligations. This reliance on conditionality can lead to feelings of resentment and emotional turmoil, as individuals feel trapped in a cycle of giving and receiving based on conditions rather than genuine affection. From a Stoic perspective, kindness should be an expression of our character, rather than a means to an end. Stoics emphasize the importance of cultivating virtues, such as empathy, compassion, and integrity, as foundational elements of a fulfilling life. By practicing unconditional kindness, we can foster deeper connections and cultivate a sense of community that transcends expectations. For instance, a Stoic might choose to volunteer their time or resources to help those in need, without anticipating recognition or reward. This selfless act of kindness not only benefits others but also enriches our own lives, reinforcing our values and beliefs. Additionally, unconditional kindness allows us to embrace vulnerability and openness in our relationships. By letting go of the need for reciprocity, we create space for authentic connections to flourish. When we practice kindness without strings attached, we invite others to do the same, fostering a culture of generosity and support. For example, consider a friend who reaches out to lend a listening ear during a difficult time, expecting nothing in return. This genuine act of compassion builds trust and strengthens the bond between friends, creating a safe haven where vulnerability is met with understanding. To break free from the habit of conditional kindness, we can adopt several Stoic strategies. First, practice self-awareness to identify moments when your kindness is contingent upon external validation. Reflect on your motivations behind your actions and challenge yourself to act from a place of genuine goodwill. For instance, if you find yourself helping others with the expectation of receiving praise, consciously shift your focus to the intrinsic value of your actions. Second, cultivate gratitude for the opportunity to serve others without expecting anything in return. Recognizing the privilege of being able to help can enhance our appreciation for the act itself. Journaling about your acts of kindness, regardless of the outcomes, can help reinforce this perspective. Furthermore, embrace the understanding that the value of kindness lies not in its reciprocation, but in its inherent nature. As Marcus Aurelius said, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. This acknowledgement prepares us for the reality that not all acts of kindness will be met with gratitude. By accepting this truth, we can cultivate resilience and maintain our commitment to kindness, regardless of the circumstances. In conclusion, conditional kindness undermines the authenticity of our compassion and creates barriers in our relationships. By embracing a Stoic perspective, we can shift our approach to kindness, allowing it to flourish as a genuine expression of our values. True kindness is not transactional. It is a selfless act that enriches both the giver and the receiver. As we learn to practice unconditional kindness, we cultivate deeper connections, foster a sense of community, and strengthen our character. Ultimately, the journey toward authentic kindness is a testament to the transformative power of Stoicism, guiding us toward a life of virtue, fulfillment, and meaningful relationships. Habit 4. Continuous negativity. Breaking free from a self-defeating habit. Negativity is a pervasive force that can silently shape our worldview and drain our energy. A pattern of continuous negativity leads to a cycle of doubt, disappointment, and disillusionment, narrowing our perspective and blinding us to opportunities for growth and happiness. Through the wisdom of Stoicism, we can learn to challenge and ultimately transform this habit, embracing a mindset that finds strength and resilience even in life's hardest moments. At the heart of continuous negativity is a habit of focusing on obstacles rather than opportunities. This tendency often develops as a defense mechanism against disappointment. By expecting the worst, we might feel we are preparing ourselves to handle adversity. Yet, paradoxically, this negative outlook often brings about the very unhappiness we're trying to avoid. A Stoic would remind us that while external events are beyond our control, how we perceive and respond to them is entirely within our power. Instead of defaulting to negativity, we can choose to cultivate a balanced, proactive mindset that sees challenges as chances to grow. Consider a person who constantly expects failure in every endeavor, convinced that things will inevitably go wrong. They may approach their work with an air of resignation, believing their efforts are futile or that their talents are insufficient. This negative outlook erodes their motivation and limits their potential for success, as their energy is sapped by fear and doubt. By anticipating negative outcomes, they may actually bring about failure, not because they are incapable, but because they have undermined their own efforts with a defeated mindset. Continuous negativity also affects relationships, casting a cloud over interactions with friends, family, and colleagues. For instance, a person who repeatedly focuses on the flaws in others may find themselves isolated or estranged, as their constant criticism breeds resentment. This not only creates tension, but also obstructs genuine connection, as they become trapped in a cycle of judgment rather than understanding. In Stoic terms, this is a failure to recognize the humanity in others. Marcus Aurelius advised us to accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. By focusing on others' virtues instead of their perceived shortcomings, we can foster more fulfilling, harmonious relationships. Another aspect of continuous negativity is the tendency to dwell on past mistakes or regrets, allowing these experiences to cloud our present. Instead of seeing past challenges as learning opportunities, we relive them in our minds, reinforcing feelings of inadequacy. This kind of thinking prevents us from moving forward as we remain anchored to negative memories. A Stoic approach encourages us to view past difficulties not as sources of regret, but as lessons. As Seneca famously stated, "The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately." By shifting our focus to the present and recognizing the potential in each new moment, we free ourselves from the shackles of our past. To counteract continuous negativity, the Stoics encourage us to practice gratitude and mindfulness, intentionally seeking moments of beauty and worth in our lives. For example, if you find yourself thinking that nothing ever goes right, take a step back and reflect on recent instances where things did in fact go well. Even small successes or moments of kindness can serve as reminders that life is not defined solely by its difficulties. By actively acknowledging these moments, we train our minds to find balance, shifting our focus away from the negative. Another effective strategy is to question the validity of negative thoughts. Just as we examine evidence in a court case, we can challenge our pessimistic assumptions. When faced with a situation that seems bleak, ask yourself, is there another way to look at this? Is my perception skewed by fear or habit? By challenging negative thoughts, we dismantle the automatic tendency to assume the worst and open ourselves to new perspectives. It's also essential to surround ourselves with positive influences. Negativity is often contagious, so being in the company of individuals who embody resilience, hope, and compassion can inspire us to adopt a more constructive outlook. Additionally, Stoic practices like journaling can be a powerful tool for processing emotions, reframing situations, and cultivating self-awareness. By taking time each day to write down our thoughts, we can examine recurring negative patterns and work toward replacing them with healthier perspectives. Ultimately, the journey to overcome continuous negativity is a commitment to self-improvement and resilience. It's about recognizing that while we cannot control external events, we can shape our internal world, choosing to approach life with an open mind and a balanced perspective. Continuous negativity need not define us. With patience, self-compassion, and the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can transform this habit into one of resilience, gratitude, and enduring strength. Habit 5. Craving validation. Finding freedom in self-approval. The habit of craving validation can become a powerful influence in our lives, subtly shaping how we think, feel, and act. Driven by a deep desire to be recognized or affirmed by others, we might find ourselves constantly seeking approval and reassurance. While it's natural to enjoy appreciation and affirmation, when validation becomes a core need, it can limit our freedom and overshadow our true sense of self. The philosophy of Stoicism teaches us to look inward for a stable foundation of worth, rather than relying on external sources to affirm our value. At its essence, craving validation is a habit born out of insecurity, a need for external confirmation that we are worthy, talented, or valued. This habit can lead to a cycle of dependency, where our sense of self fluctuates according to others' opinions. The Stoics, however, encourage us to anchor our worth in our own character and principles. They remind us that while we may receive praise or criticism, neither should alter our self-view. As Epictetus advised, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, the Stoics recognize that external opinions are ultimately beyond our control and often unrelated to our true value. Consider someone who constantly seeks recognition at work, going out of their way to ensure that every effort is noticed and applauded. Although this might initially motivate them to perform well, over time they might find themselves feeling anxious and dependent on the feedback of their colleagues or superiors. The need for validation shifts their focus from the quality of their work to the response it will receive. In the long run, this can stifle their potential, as they prioritize external feedback over their own standards of excellence. Instead of valuing the work for its own sake, they allow the opinions of others to dictate their sense of achievement and worth. In relationships, craving validation can lead to behaviors that sacrifice authenticity for approval. For instance, a person may find themselves consistently agreeing with others, avoiding conflict, or altering their personality to fit in, all to secure others' acceptance. While this might result in temporary harmony, it often leads to feelings of disconnection and resentment, as they feel unable to express their true selves. Stoicism teaches us to honor our own values and beliefs, recognizing that a genuine life cannot be lived solely to please others. Marcus Aurelius encouraged, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This advice serves as a reminder to act with integrity and focus on embodying our values, regardless of how others perceive us. The craving for validation can also appear in how we present ourselves on social media. For instance, one might feel pressured to curate an idealized version of their life, seeking likes, comments, and shares as a form of affirmation. This habit can create a cycle of comparison and inadequacy, as each post becomes a measure of worthiness. Over time, this can lead to a sense of emptiness and disconnect between the carefully constructed online persona and one's true self. By contrast, Stoic philosophy encourages us to cultivate a sense of inner sufficiency, so that our self-worth remains intact regardless of external feedback. As Seneca wrote, "You will find no one willing to share his money, but to how many does each of us divide his mind?" This underscores the importance of valuing our own opinion over the fleeting attention of others. To overcome the habit of craving validation, Stoicism offers practical exercises to strengthen inner approval and self-acceptance. One effective approach is to practice self-reflection and self-honesty. By regularly asking ourselves questions like, "Am I acting in alignment with my values? And do I approve of my actions, regardless of others' opinions?" we develop a clearer sense of what truly matters to us. This reflection helps us shift from a need for validation to a focus on personal growth and authenticity. Additionally, we can cultivate resilience by learning to accept criticism without letting it define us. Stoicism teaches us that criticism is often a reflection of others' values and beliefs, rather than an absolute judgment of our worth. When faced with criticism, we can consider it with an open mind, taking in useful insights, but discarding any negativity that doesn't align with our own understanding of ourselves. This allows us to stand firm in our own values, regardless of others' opinions. Practicing gratitude is another powerful tool in breaking free from the need for validation. By focusing on our own achievements and the strengths we already possess, we become less reliant on external affirmation. Reflecting on what we appreciate in ourselves fosters a sense of inner wealth that isn't dependent on others' recognition. Finally, spending time alone can be transformative for those seeking to reduce their reliance on validation. Solitude allows us to connect with our true self, free from the expectations and opinions of others. In this space, we can learn to enjoy our own company and rediscover our intrinsic worth. Through solitude, we cultivate self-acceptance and resilience, realizing that our value does not depend on being seen or approved by others. In essence, craving validation is a habit that can be reframed as a journey towards self-acceptance and inner peace. By grounding our sense of worth in our own actions, values, and principles, we free ourselves from the anxiety and dependency that arise from seeking others' approval. The Stoic path reminds us that true contentment comes not from external praise, but from living in alignment with our own principles, embracing our unique path with confidence and self-assurance. Habit 6. Unfair comparisons. Embracing your unique journey. Unfair comparisons are a habit that creeps in when we measure ourselves against others in ways that erode our sense of self-worth and joy. Driven by societal pressures, social media portrayals, or our own insecurities, we might find ourselves repeatedly looking at others' successes, relationships, or lifestyles, only to feel that we come up short. This habit of comparing doesn't just rob us of inner peace, it can also diminish our appreciation for the unique paths we each travel. The Stoics, however, would remind us that every life is distinct, shaped by factors and contexts known only to the individual. Comparison, in their eyes, is a distraction from our true work, cultivating our own character and making the best of our circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "Don't set your mind on things you don't possess, as though they were yours, but consider how much you'd long for them if they weren't yours." This quote reminds us that comparison distracts us from appreciating what we have and misdirects our energy toward futile pursuits. The Stoics believe that focusing on what lies within our control, our choices, actions, and values, offers a path to true fulfillment, free from the illusions that comparison often creates. Imagine a young professional who constantly compares their career progression to their peers. They might see friends with impressive titles, high salaries, or luxurious lifestyles and begin to feel inadequate, even if they are genuinely passionate about their own work. This comparison, however, is unfair because each individual faces different circumstances, possesses unique talents, and has distinct goals. The Stoic approach encourages us to look inward, to measure our growth not by others' achievements, but by our own progress in becoming a person of integrity, diligence, and resilience. Epictetus teaches us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This reminder helps us resist the pull of comparison by focusing instead on how we navigate our unique path. In relationships, too, unfair comparisons can arise. A person might find themselves envying a friend's seemingly perfect relationship, wishing for the same experiences or qualities in their own. This comparison may cause dissatisfaction or resentment, even if their own relationship is healthy and fulfilling in its own ways. Comparing our relationships to others often leads to unrealistic expectations, as we see only surface details rather than the full complexities of any partnership. The Stoics, in their wisdom, would advise us to focus on fostering gratitude and genuine connection in our own relationships, rather than allowing comparisons to distort our sense of what is valuable. Seneca reminds us, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." When we crave others' experiences, we lose sight of the richness in our own lives. On social media, unfair comparisons can become particularly intense. We may find ourselves scrolling through images of vacations, promotions, or accomplishments, subconsciously comparing our lives to the highlights presented online. This habit can make us feel as if we're lagging, even though social media often showcases only the most polished moments. The Stoic approach here is one of discernment and grounding in reality. By acknowledging that appearances are often curated, we remind ourselves that true contentment comes not from matching others' experiences, but from cultivating inner resilience, gratitude, and purpose. To overcome the habit of unfair comparisons, Stoicism encourages us to reflect on our unique values and goals. By defining what truly matters to us, we establish a personal compass that keeps us aligned with our own path. Instead of measuring ourselves against others, we can ask questions like, am I acting in alignment with my values? And what small actions today bring me closer to my own goals? This shift in focus helps us measure success by our own standards rather than external benchmarks. Practicing gratitude is another antidote to the habit of comparison. When we cultivate appreciation for what we have, we strengthen our sense of fulfillment and weaken the pull of envy. Daily gratitude exercises, such as listing things we're grateful for or reflecting on moments of joy and growth, can foster a deep sense of inner wealth that comparison cannot undermine. Stoicism also suggests recognizing the fleeting nature of external achievements. By reminding ourselves that wealth, beauty, and status are impermanent, we can learn to value qualities that endure, such as kindness, wisdom, and resilience. This perspective liberates us from the cycle of comparison by focusing our attention on the virtues that truly enhance our lives, regardless of how we measure up to others. Another valuable practice is solitude. Spending time alone helps us reconnect with our own thoughts, goals, and desires, free from the influences of comparison. Solitude allows us to appreciate our own company and discover what truly brings us joy and peace. Through moments of quiet reflection, we strengthen our self-awareness and grow more resilient against the need to compare. Ultimately, overcoming the habit of unfair comparisons means embracing our unique journey and recognizing that fulfillment is found in living authentically. By focusing on our own growth, valuing what we have, and defining success on our own terms, we release ourselves from the need to measure up to others. The Stoic path teaches us that true contentment lies not in external comparisons, but in nurturing our inner lives and honoring the individuality of our experiences. In doing so, we free ourselves to find joy, purpose, and meaning in our own journey, undisturbed by the shadow of comparison. Habit 7. Unsolicited advice. The wisdom of knowing when to listen. Offering unsolicited advice may often seem like an act of care, an attempt to help others avoid the struggles we've faced. However, giving advice without being asked can sometimes undermine the other person's autonomy, making them feel unheard or incapable of finding their own solutions. While well-intentioned, unsolicited advice can come across as a lack of trust in the other's ability to learn and grow on their own. Moreover, it can create tension, especially when the advice goes unappreciated or conflicts with the individual's own ideas and experiences. In Stoicism, there is a deep respect for each person's unique journey, including their right to learn through their own experiences. Stoic philosophers remind us to avoid trying to control what we cannot change, and this includes others' choices and growth paths. Rather than imposing our perspective, we can practice the Stoic virtues of patience, humility, and understanding, allowing others to find their way. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Instead of advising others on how to act, the Stoics would suggest that we model the qualities we value, showing wisdom through our actions rather than our words. Consider a situation where a friend shares that they're struggling with a difficult decision, maybe between changing careers or staying in their current job. The immediate instinct might be to offer advice, perhaps based on our own career experiences. But by doing so, we risk imposing our own values or assumptions, possibly making them feel pressured to choose a path they aren't sure about. The Stoic approach would encourage us to instead be a listening ear, asking thoughtful questions that allow them to explore their thoughts. In doing so, we help them feel supported without directing their decisions, which fosters a deeper sense of respect and trust in the relationship. In family dynamics, unsolicited advice often arises between generations. Parents, for instance, may want to guide their adult children through life's challenges, offering advice on everything from finances to relationships. However, when given unasked, this advice can sometimes create frustration or conflict, as the younger generation may feel that their independence is being undermined. Rather than insisting on sharing life lessons, the Stoic approach suggests stepping back, allowing children to face their own challenges, and learning from their unique experiences. Epictetus reminds us, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening allows us to connect with others' perspectives and recognize their capacity to find answers within themselves. The habit of giving unsolicited advice also often surfaces at work, especially in collaborative or team environments. Perhaps a colleague is struggling with a project, and while our instinct might be to jump in with suggestions, this can sometimes make them feel as if they're not capable of managing on their own. The Stoics encourage us to respect others' autonomy, allowing them the space to learn and grow at their own pace. Rather than intervening, we can ask if they would like our perspective, or offer help only if it's welcomed. This shows respect for their competence and builds a stronger sense of collaboration, free from any sense of hierarchy or control. Unsolicited advice can be particularly pervasive in personal relationships, where intentions are often colored by deep emotions and care. For instance, if a friend or partner is struggling with personal growth, the urge to step in and fix their situation can feel overwhelming. However, the Stoic way would remind us that each person has their own path and must confront their own struggles in their own way. Instead of controlling or directing, we can offer empathy and support while respecting their autonomy. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This reminds us to be supportive presences in each other's lives, serving as sources of positive influence rather than forces of control. The desire to give unsolicited advice may also stem from our own need for validation or our desire to be seen as knowledgeable or wise. Recognizing this, we can turn our attention inward, examining whether our impulse to give advice serves the other person or satisfies our own ego. By releasing this need for validation, we practice humility and self-restraint, allowing us to foster more authentic, balanced relationships. Instead of giving advice unasked, a powerful alternative is to practice deep listening. By allowing others to speak and truly hearing their thoughts, we show that we respect their perspectives. In place of advice, we can offer open-ended questions that empower them to think through their situation. For example, we might ask, "What do you feel would help you the most right now?" Or, "What have you already considered?" These types of questions invite them to find their own solutions while showing that we trust their judgment. Another helpful approach is to model the values or qualities we believe in through our actions. If we feel strongly about a certain perspective or practice, embodying it in our own lives can be more impactful than offering verbal advice. When others see how we handle challenges with grace, resilience, or wisdom, they may be inspired to follow suit, without us needing to say a word. Ultimately, moving away from unsolicited advice is about respecting others' autonomy, trusting in their ability to navigate their lives, and offering support when it's truly needed. By embracing this approach, we foster deeper, more resilient connections with others, and nurture a more profound sense of mutual respect. Practicing this restraint frees us from the need to control outcomes and opens up the space for authentic, empowering relationships. In doing so, we contribute to a world where everyone is supported to grow at their own pace, guided by their unique strengths and wisdom. Habit 8. The temptation of quick fixes. Embracing the power of lasting effort. In a fast-paced world where instant gratification is often only a click away, the temptation of quick fixes has become a pervasive habit. Whether it's searching for shortcuts in health, career, relationships, or personal development, quick fixes promise easy solutions to complex problems. Yet, as appealing as they may seem, these shortcuts often lead to temporary relief rather than true, lasting transformation. Stoicism, with its emphasis on discipline, resilience, and gradual self-improvement, warns against the allure of easy answers and encourages a mindset that values steady, intentional growth. The Stoics understood that genuine progress comes from consistent effort over time, not from shortcuts or superficial fixes. They believed that each challenge presents an opportunity to build inner strength and character, rather than something to be bypassed. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Rather than seeing obstacles as things to avoid, Stoics viewed them as essential steps in their journey, each one shaping and refining their character. Quick fixes may seem to clear these obstacles, but they rob us of the chance to develop resilience, self-mastery, and a deep understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Consider a common scenario. Someone seeking quick solutions for physical health, such as weight loss or building strength. The temptation is to follow extreme diets or instant fitness plans that promise rapid results. However, these approaches often lead to disappointment, as they bypass the foundational habits and discipline required for sustainable health. Stoic wisdom would suggest that instead of rushing for fast results, we focus on establishing small, consistent habits, like balanced meals, regular exercise, and mindful eating. Epictetus advised, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen." Quick fixes might skip over these crucial stages, but genuine growth requires patience and steady commitment. In the realm of career advancement, the same allure of quick solutions often appears. It's easy to gravitate toward shortcuts, perhaps by seeking superficial knowledge to meet the immediate demands of a job, rather than building a deep, enduring expertise. This approach might yield temporary recognition, but it lacks the foundation necessary for sustained growth. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate a mindset of long-term development, emphasizing persistence over convenience. By dedicating ourselves to continuous learning and disciplined practice, we not only build skills but also foster confidence and integrity, values that cannot be achieved through shortcuts. Relationships are another area where quick fixes can be particularly harmful. When conflict arises, there is a natural temptation to look for fast ways to restore harmony, whether by ignoring problems, making superficial apologies, or resorting to temporary distractions. While these actions may bring short-lived peace, they rarely address the deeper issues that give rise to conflict in the first place. Stoic philosophy suggests that authentic connection requires honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to work through difficult moments. By avoiding shortcuts in relationships, we invest in deeper, more meaningful bonds that are built on trust and understanding, rather than on temporary band-aids. Financial success is yet another domain often dominated by the lure of quick fixes. From high-risk investments to get-rich-quick schemes, there is no shortage of promises for fast financial gains. But Stoicism teaches that true wealth is found in self-discipline and the ability to live within one's means. Rather than pursuing instant wealth, the Stoics emphasized financial resilience, contentment, and gradual growth. By avoiding risky shortcuts and focusing on sustainable financial habits, we can build security that isn't subject to the highs and lows of short-term trends. The habit of seeking quick fixes also surfaces in the context of personal growth and emotional well-being. In challenging times, it's tempting to look for immediate distractions or comfort, whether through technology, indulgent food, or mindless entertainment. Yet, these temporary escapes often leave us feeling more disconnected and unsettled in the long run. Stoicism advocates for embracing discomfort as a way of cultivating inner strength. Instead of avoiding difficult emotions or seeking quick relief, we are encouraged to confront them directly, learning from them and using them to grow stronger. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." True inner peace is not found in avoiding challenges, but in facing them with courage and resilience. The Stoic approach to overcoming the habit of quick fixes involves cultivating patience, discipline, and self-control. Rather than seeing effort as something to avoid, we can learn to view it as a valuable investment in our long-term well-being. Each time we resist the temptation of a shortcut and choose a path of genuine effort, we strengthen our character and increase our capacity to handle life's challenges with grace. This gradual progress may not provide the instant rewards that quick fixes promise, but it creates a foundation of resilience and self-respect that sustains us in the face of any hardship. Practicing this mindset in daily life requires conscious effort. We can start by recognizing when we're drawn to quick solutions and questioning whether they align with our deeper values and goals. Each time we choose a meaningful effort over an easy answer, we affirm our commitment to growth, and each choice becomes a building block in our journey towards self-mastery. Stoicism teaches us that there are no true shortcuts to becoming our best selves, only the steady path of intentional effort, one decision at a time. Ultimately, overcoming the temptation of quick fixes leads to a life rich with purpose and resilience. By embracing the journey, rather than racing to the destination, we cultivate the kind of character that stands strong in any situation, facing challenges not as obstacles but as essential parts of our development. Habit 9. Fear of change. Embracing growth beyond comfort. Change is inevitable, yet for many the unknown brings a paralyzing fear that prevents progress, stalling growth and potential. Whether it's a career shift, a new relationship, a move to a different city, or adopting a different way of thinking, change often feels intimidating. The Stoic perspective, however, teaches us to welcome change, seeing it as an essential part of life that challenges us to adapt, evolve, and ultimately thrive. The fear of change stems from the mind's natural inclination towards security. Humans seek stability, finding comfort in routines and predictability. The Stoics understood this desire, but argued that true stability is not found in resisting change but rather in building resilience. Epictetus taught, "It is not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of things." Our fear of change is, in reality, a fear of how we think change might affect us. If we can shift our perspective, viewing change as a pathway to greater self-understanding rather than a threat, we can begin to see it as an ally rather than an enemy. Imagine someone who is dissatisfied with their career but fears the uncertainties of a new path. Every day they feel trapped, yet the potential risk of change holds them back. In such cases, Stoicism encourages introspection. By questioning what is truly at stake, we can separate the real risks from the imagined ones. What if this person chose to see change as a chance to grow, to discover new skills, and to expand their network? By breaking free from the illusion that stability equals security, they open themselves to countless new possibilities, some of which may bring the fulfillment they had been longing for. In relationships, the fear of change can often prevent honest communication. Individuals may hesitate to share their evolving needs, fearing it could disrupt the dynamic or even threaten the relationship itself. But Stoicism emphasizes that we should embrace life as it unfolds, rather than resisting its natural course. Marcus Aurelius said, "What we do now echoes in eternity." Rather than fearing how change might impact a relationship, we should consider how embracing change with openness and empathy can deepen the connection. Real, lasting relationships are those that evolve, growing stronger through honest communication and mutual understanding, rather than those that stay stagnant for the sake of comfort. Consider another example. A person who is reluctant to leave their hometown, despite a longing to explore new horizons. They fear the challenges of starting fresh in a new place, clinging instead to the familiarity of the environment they've known their whole life. Stoic philosophy would advise embracing the discomfort that comes with new beginnings. By leaning into the uncertainty, they might discover aspects of themselves they never knew existed. The challenges of adapting to a new environment can foster resilience, adaptability, and independence, qualities that are difficult to cultivate in a place of static comfort. Change is also an integral part of personal growth and self-discovery. When we fear change, we often avoid challenging ourselves, retreating to the comfort of what we already know. But the Stoics taught that self-mastery is achieved through facing and overcoming obstacles. Seneca stated, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Each challenge and change we face is an opportunity to polish the gem within us, revealing qualities we may not have known we possessed. Avoiding change, on the other hand, leads to stagnation, keeping us confined to the limits of our current self. The fear of change is often amplified by our tendency to dwell on potential negative outcomes, rather than considering the potential benefits. We might imagine failure, loss, or discomfort, rather than focusing on what we might gain, be it new knowledge, expanded horizons, or unexpected opportunities. In overcoming this tendency, we can practice a Stoic exercise known as premeditatio malorum, or premeditation on adversity. By visualizing the possible outcomes of change, we can face our fears head-on, recognizing that even if the worst were to happen, we could handle it. This exercise not only prepares us to face change, but helps to reduce the anxiety that often accompanies the unknown. In a world where we are constantly encouraged to improve, fearing change can lead us to stay small, hiding from the experiences that could unlock our fullest potential. Stoicism encourages us to embrace each change as part of the larger ebb and flow of life. Instead of seeing change as a threat to our comfort, we can view it as a chance to grow, to learn, and to build a life that aligns more closely with our values and aspirations. As Epictetus wisely put it, the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. It is in the turbulence of change that we become skillful navigators of our own lives, learning to adapt, grow, and remain centered amid life's natural fluctuations. Ultimately, the Stoic response to the fear of change is to recognize that change is the only constant. When we accept this, we are free to move forward with courage rather than hesitation. By embracing change, we cultivate resilience, adaptability, and a deep-seated confidence that allows us to handle whatever life brings. We learn that life's greatest rewards often lie just beyond our comfort zones, waiting for us to have the courage to reach for them. In reflecting on these 9 habits, we find that each one represents a different form of attachment, whether to the past, to external validation, or to ideals that trap rather than free us. The wisdom of Stoicism reminds us that true freedom lies in inner mastery, letting go of what we cannot control, aligning our actions with our values, and embracing growth, however uncomfortable it may be. By shedding these unproductive habits, we make room for clarity, resilience, and a sense of calm that no external circumstance can disrupt. Stoic philosophy is a timeless guide for anyone seeking a more grounded, fulfilling life, and these 9 habits are a starting point for that journey. They invite us to observe ourselves honestly, cultivate inner peace, and discover strength in the face of life's challenges. In overcoming these habits, we build a more robust mindset, capable of transforming obstacles into opportunities. Thank you for taking the time to explore these insights with us. If you found value in this journey of self-improvement, we invite you to join us on Stoic Mindset, a place to dive deeper into Stoic teachings, learn practical strategies for daily life, and build a community centered around resilience and wisdom. Subscribe to our channel for more content to empower your journey toward a more stoic and fulfilling life. Thank you for reading through to the end. If you have any thoughts, reflections, or personal experiences related to these habits, please feel free to share them in the comments below. Your feedback and ideas are invaluable to us, and we'd love to know how these insights resonate with you. Let us know your thoughts, and let's continue this journey of growth and wisdom together.